Good morning. Today is February 21st, 2023. This is a follow-up video about my gallbladder surgery. I had my gallbladder fail on me from about the time of August, September 2022 until I had surgery January 10th, 2023. My gallbladder was functioning at about 27%. I was getting sick and nauseous every time I ate pretty much anything. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was also depleting myself of nutrients that were valuable for my body, which it needed. I went from an average weight of 145 to 155, about 150 pounds, down to about 128 pounds. I didn't realize that I was choosing really not to eat because I was afraid to eat, because every time I ate, I got very nauseous, sometimes threw up, and just extreme excruciating pain. A lot of my pain was not necessarily on the left side. A lot of it, or on the right side, I'm sorry. A lot of it was on the left side more than the right side. I did have a lot of lower back pain as well. But anyway, in short, today marks 6 weeks since I have recovered from, or had my gallbladder surgery, January 10th, 2023, today being February 21st, 2023. I wanted to give an update video on my progress. As of today, I am weighing in about 145 pounds. I have gained close to 20 pounds back, which I'm very excited about. It was not an easy process. It really hit me the second week after my surgery, when I went to do a follow-up with my physician, that I saw that on this, when I jumped on the scale, I was 132 pounds, and that was not counting shoes or clothing, which is about 2 to 5 pounds. So being a former fitness instructor, I was a fitness instructor for over a decade. I was also automotive and diesel technician for about 15 years. I'm 34 years old. I'll be 35 in a couple months. It hit me pretty hardcore. I said, you know what? We've coached people before, Nick, and you're going to get through this, and you're going to educate yourself. So I want to give you some tips and reminders as to what to do to help me. Not only did I gain weight back, but I want to show you that I no longer have the stitches. Sorry if it's a little bit provocative. There was where one of my big incisions was. Right there was probably my biggest one. Had a little mark there, and I had a couple marks here and here. I think I had a total of 6. This one right here, it actually has a little nodule inside of there. So it feels like a bump, and it just feels like a giant cyst up underneath my skin. I was told that this is actually a part of the scar tissue that has folded together, and being that the scar tissue, when it folded together, it got bound up. I've had surgery before, but not like this. The scar tissue has folded up, and at this point has caused it to wrap up and entangle itself or whatnot and create a mass. Nothing to be too alarmed. In fact, I was pretty alarmed at the time, but found out very quickly that it's nothing to really worry about too much. So I want to get some tips. Being a former fitness instructor, having a degree in psychology, and being a technician, I've learned to constantly push myself. My happy weight, for me, I've always been pretty lean, was about 155 to 165, and lightweight to middle class range. At one time, I used to be a light heavyweight bodybuilder over a decade ago in my early 20s, and got sick, lost all the weight. But anyway, my tip is to diet properly. Now, I still have this issue where when I urinate, it comes out very foamy. I was told that those are bubbles, and that sometimes can be natural. I will say that you will get IBS symptoms. About once a week, I'll have constipation or diarrhea. and it doesn't feel good. For me, it's extreme bloating. It's very painful, but I've learned to kind of just deal with it. I am able to eat pretty much all foods now without getting nauseated or severely sick and upset to my stomach or an excruciating amount of pain. But ever since that second week visit, I decided, you know what, let's get back in the routine. I know what I need to do. In order for an average male, pretty much from any time he's 16, 17 years old going forward until he's about 44, 45, should be eating roughly 2,200 calories a day on average to get the proper nutrients that he needs. For females, it's roughly 1,800 to 2,200 calories per day to get the proper nutrients that you need. There is a calculation you can do this to figure out your caloric intake. But I recommend hiring a personal trainer or a coach, or getting a nutritionist as well. Me being a former fitness instructor and having a degree in exercise, I went back and went through my notes, my journals, and my books, and I said, you know what, we're going to do this. So I have my own private gym at my house, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to use that. Have a treadmill, dumbbells, spin bike. Me and my wife both use, and I used to like to do calisthenics, functional training, and as well as resistance training on top of things. But in short, I downloaded the Food UK app is kind of like Map My Fitness and My Nutrition, or a Weight Watchers app, something that you can calculate your caloric intake and take and add to what you're eating every day. Most of these apps, if you scan the barcode, will automatically generate the nutritional value to it, and you can change the serving size, and you can change it whether it's a snack or a meal. My knowledge in health and fitness is to always eat 4 to 6 meals per day. And because you want to constantly burn energy so you can get nice and lean muscle out of it. I'm honestly thankful that I pushed myself. I had a lot of motivation from my friends, my family, particularly my wife, to help me push myself to become stronger and to excel in my goals. So as of today, again, I've gained almost 20 pounds back, about 145 pounds, and I feel a lot better mentally and physically, and I've got a lot of muscle back. I had to do that because for me, it's not always about looks, it's about how you feel, but we can't help but want to feel good and look good at the same time. But as you know, my wife pointed out last night, she said, it's okay to want to look good, but feel good in a healthy way. And I've said that for so many years. So to hear other people say that, and if you're one of my former personal training clients, I feel for you, because I've been through some stuff lately myself. Last year, 2022, was very hard for me. I suffered second-degree burns on my right arm, my right leg from an accident with some gasoline in a fire that just did not go well. I'm thankful to have walked away from it. I also lost my business. I went through a lot of emotional strain and stress. Had a number of things emotionally happen. One of my former employees passed away. And then going back into the job field in your mid-30s is never fun either. Currently, I am happy moving forward. I'm ready to get back to work, but it has been a process. I'm a wealth of knowledge, I have a lot of business experience, and I love to write and read. I'm a great people person, but when it comes down to it, I love helping people. So I'm hopeful that this video will help inspire someone else. Whether you're having gallbladder surgery, kidney problems, pancreas, whatever the case may be, I rely a lot on my faith. I don't judge other people if they don't have a particular faith preference. That's not for me to say. I just, for me personally, I rely on my faith because it works for me. I used to not be a believer many years ago, but I've learned prayer, meditation, and supplication. What do I got to lose? I mean, if anything, I'll gain something, but otherwise, what do I have to lose? There's a lot of love in what I do. especially coming from someone who used to not be like that. Some of my next videos to follow, I plan on talking about some of my personal story growing up, and as a way to help other people who are going through tough and challenging times. And honestly, I feel like it's good to just describe it and talk about it. But anyway, gallbladder surgery removal. I definitely recommend reviewing a physician, talking to a physician, getting comfortable with a physician. Don't just pick any surgeon. I went through a number of options, and thankfully this physician just walked right in my path. But I was very skeptical, as I have been with doctors in the past. I've walked away from certain physicians because I did not feel comfortable with their bedside manners and or their professionalism. My particular surgeon, Dr. Srinivaskan at Spartanburg Regional Healthcare System in Spartanburg, South Carolina, I 100% recommend him. He was very straightforward. He said that this may or may not work. I can't guarantee that it's going to, but you know, it's not going to make the problem any worse when you already have a failing gallbladder. Turns out my gallbladder, after they removed it, they actually tested it and found out that the gallbladder itself was functioning quite well, because they run dye and stuff through it. But my bile duct which goes from the pancreas to the liver between the gallbladder, which is pretty much like a channel for the fat. When the liver releases fat, it typically would release it in the bile duct. The gallbladder would absorb it. It helped to break it down. People who have gallstones, typically that's where that would come from. The kidneys generally filter out protein, amino acids, which are protein binding cells, and also phosphorus and magnesium and things like that. So, and then the pancreas breaks down fructose and turns it into glucose in the body, which would be your sugars and starches, things like that, things on the glycemic index. But my bile duct was pretty much clogged up and extremely congested. So that was what was actually the problem that was going on. And I mean, I'll admit the first week I took Tylenol. They gave me Tylenol because I saw it requested right after the surgery. I haven't had any pain medicine since, but the bloating and the gas is there. I definitely recommend watching your diet. Some things will work, some things won't. I found that sticking to the FODMAP diet, which pretty much is like a brat diet, you want to stick to things lower on the glycemic index. And then generally I incorporated other things because I was trying to put weight back on, which to put on 10 pounds in a month, regardless, is a lot. Resistance training and cardio and trying to stick to the healthier foods. A lot of what I eat is, I just like the old school food pyramid. 6 to 12 servings of grain a day, 2 to 3 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, 1 to 2 servings of dairy a day, whether it's cheese, yogurt, milk. For me, I can't have lactose, bothers me, so I choose Fairlife, non-fat, lactose-free milk. I have it maybe once every other day with some fortified foods like cereal or oatmeal. But I also add it to things like natural cornbread that I'll make, or biscuits that are natural, or if I'm baking something, typically I'll add that to it because it's a natural ingredient to add to help it rise. I don't eat regular eggs for the most part. I usually eat egg whites. When I do go out, about 2 times a week, I'll have a regular egg because of the vitamin D, the magnesium, and the calcium and the protein are good in there. Eggs do help out with IBS type symptoms because they help slow the progression of food in the small intestine. So when you have your gallbladder removed, your liver now is, that excess fat goes into your small intestine and leaks in there. So it can cause constipation. It can cause diarrhea. Just don't freak out. At first I did because, oh my gosh, the first couple times was like, you're sitting on the toilet for like an hour and you're like in so much pain. It hurts so bad. The cramping was way worse than what it was when I had my gallbladder that was failing in me. But I got through it. As you can see, I got Gatorade back there. I drink Gatorade as a way to replenish my electrolytes when I do have severe cases of diarrhea. Also helps to settle the stomach down because the body is immediately going to want to break down the fructose. Gatorade also has electrolytes in it, so your body automatically absorbs those electrolytes because of the fructose content in Gatorade. It does not work for everybody. I'm not recommending my diet per se for someone else. I just recommend that you do what's best for you, but definitely don't just jump onto a trend like paleo or keto or Atkins without knowing that those diets work for some people but not for everybody. Atkins diet is very similar to keto. You're high fat, low carb. Um, but again, it's good for energy if you have a high metabolism, but for those who don't, it's not good. Saturated fat, watch out. Poly and monounsaturated fats help you out. Things like avocado have poly and monounsaturated fats in it. They're high in it. Whole grains, even like pastas and breads and gluten-free products, rice, have poly and monounsaturated fats in them. However, too much healthy fat is still too much bad fat for you. So, with that being said, really just watch what you do. Keep in mind your portion size, your caloric intake, and what goals you're particularly working on. Don't just jump onto it and think that, oh, I'm going to gain or lose weight right away. It takes time. It really does. My body, I reckon, is a little bit more used to it because I've been avid about fitness since I was 12 years old. I'm 34 now. I've always been pretty health conscious. I do have a weakness, which is sweets. I love cookies and brownies and cake. I absolutely love it. Even fruits, I love bananas. I love pineapple. I love blueberries. But the types of foods that you put in your body can cause your digestive system to act inappropriately. Knowing the difference between soluble and insoluble fiber will help you out tremendously, because soluble fiber is fiber that your body wants to automatically push out. It wants to store water to bulk your stools with. Insoluble fiber does the opposite. It's going to make your intestines work a little bit harder to get rid of it. So know the difference between the two. Broccoli is a good source of insoluble fiber. Broccoli is a good source of soluble fiber. Cauliflower is the opposite. It's a good source of insoluble fiber. Knowing the difference between the two, though they might both be carnivorous plants, they're both different on the glycemic index, how your body digests them. So keep these things in mind. Do your research. Apps that help you, again, like Fujicate, the Weight Watchers app, MapMyFitness, the Strong app, which I believe is by, I want to say it's by, I can't remember the company, but don't just download an app. Do your homework. Pay for the money to have a nutritionist or a personal trainer. If you're going back to the gym afterwards, don't just jump back into it. Even if you know what you're doing, it doesn't hurt to have a coach there side by side with you to make sure your form and technique is good, your repetitions, your rest periods, you're doing the proper ranges. For me, I'm doing hypertrophy, which means to bulk up. But for some people, endurance, which would be meaning you're wanting to lean down and cut down, or strength to strengthen your body. But know the difference between the two. And definitely do your cardio. You need to do cardio, protect your heart. I have not ran a mile in over probably a decade, because about 4 or 5 years ago, I ruptured my L5, between L5 and L6. I didn't bulge my disc. I flat out ruptured it. I'm pretty sure this was during the time I was removing a transmission out of a FedEx step van off the ground, and I felt it. I've had back problems over the years, but this was different. The next day, I felt like I was paralyzed, couldn't move my legs from the waist down. Went and had MRIs done. Sure enough, the disc wasn't in between the vertebrae. It was completely out of it. Of course, they wanted to do laminectomy, discectomy, and put a cage in my back. I said, you know what? Let me see a different physician, my primary care. He told me, Nick, you have the knowledge and experience. You can rehab yourself and see if you can get through this. Well, Less than 6 months later, I was up and walking again. Now, I don't know why, after the gallbladder surgery, I decided, you know what? I'm going to do this. I've got to where I can run a mile now in about 6 to 8 minutes, which is pretty remarkable. But everybody's fitness goals are different. For me, removing my gallbladder and not getting sick every time I ate, yeah, the nausea still comes back. Yeah, the pain and bloating is there, but not as bad as it was. And it's not comfortable, no, but you mentally have to tell yourself to have faith that you're going to get through this, that you are going to better yourself, that you are not a vessel who's made to be sedentary, who is made to relax and do nothing with yourself. You're going to get through this. And I have faith in you. So feel free to leave me a like or a comment if you'd like to. I'm sorry it took a while for the comment I got that someone was looking for a follow-up video on it, my surgery. I hope this video helps you out. Believe me, I could talk all day about this. And quite honestly, I feel more inspired to start talking about stories like this because I am a wealth of knowledge. No, I'm not a doctor, but I do have a few degrees, and I love helping people. I love reading. I'm the type of person, if I don't know something, I want to know it. And if I'm wrong about something, please 100% point it out, because I don't want to continue to make mistakes. I'm not the type of person who likes making mistakes. I like to learn and move forward so that I can use my skills and knowledge to help other people. This does not feel good, but if you were to see it a month ago, I was tormented by how weak I was, how bad I felt. And I said, you know what, mentally, we're going to get through this. Your mental health and your emotional health is important. Have support of loved ones, friends, and family. If you don't have friends or family who are willing to support you, well, maybe evaluate that. Find some people, motivational groups. There are groups everywhere in all communities who are willing to, you can go to, like, it's not like an AA group, but there are motivational groups, people who have been through surgeries, people who have been through operations, people who have health problems that are consistent, people who are depressed, anxious. There are health groups that you can do. Just have to reach out to them. I'm not sure what area you're in if you're watching this video, but if there's any way I can help, feel free to. And I hope that maybe in the future I can start posting some of my own workouts to help other people. But not only that, some stories to help inspire other people. Anyways, thank you for watching. My name is Nicholas Reinhardt. If you have any questions or feedback, feel free to leave them. And I look forward to hearing back from you. Hope this video helps. And I hope you have a good day and a blessed rest of the week.